So hello and welcome back to the channel. I wanted to do things a little bit differently today, so I decided to do some point of view photography. So I've basically strapped the GoPro to my chest and I'm going for a walk. I've got my 750D in my bag with my nifty 50 on the front. No tripod, I'll just be doing a little bit of handheld shooting. I needed to get out, I needed to go somewhere today. Well, I had to go to the bank anyway to pay in a cheque from Christmas, which was getting a little bit ridiculous, waiting, but I haven't really been anywhere, and I'm pretty sure the same as a lot of people, lockdown has been doing you in a little bit. If you're not from the UK, you might not know what's going on here. We're in a national lockdown at the moment. That started on the 5th of January. The kids went back to school for one day on the 4th, and it's the 5th of February today, I think. So we've got another month or so, apparently. See what happens, but after a month of not doing anything, and pretty much 12 months of not doing anything, I needed to get out today. I can't do any more indoor photography projects, and even though work is on the up, I've been very fortunate. Work has been improving, is probably the word. Improving, because I pretty much lost all my clients overnight. If you've seen any of my other videos, you might have seen that. Lost a lot of clients overnight, and then it's been slowly but surely building up since then, so we're doing all right. It's not too bad, it could be a lot worse. There's people in a lot worse position than I am. Some good news though, I was thinking the other day, I just want to get out in the camper van, but the camper van passed its MOT, which is fantastic, considering the amount of money we spent on it last January to get it through the year, to get it back on the road. So that was January 2020, and then it basically sat on the drive for most of the year. We did go away in it once for 4 days, but the amount of money, even the cost of insurance probably wasn't worth it for that year. But it's now sawn, it's now off the road. It's been off the road for a while, but it's passed its MOT just for the cost of the MOT, which is fantastic. So today, as I say, I needed to get out, and I'm literally just going for a walk. I couldn't face making a video. I was speaking to someone online yesterday who was very nice. I put a couple of pictures up of Lego photography, and they said that last lockdown it inspired them to be a bit creative with some Lego photography, but I've sort of done that to death, I feel. So I needed to get out. Photography is secondary today. It usually is anyway, especially in these times, but it's definitely secondary. Literally just taking you on a walk, grab a cup of tea, pause the video now if you want, grab a cup of tea, and we're probably going to be out for maybe half an hour, 40 minutes. It's going to be unedited, it's just going to be a little walk. You won't see my face, so that's an extra bonus, and you'll just see the area that I'm wandering around and some different places that I go to shoot. One thing that I do want to do though, oh, we're good. One thing that I do want to do though is just grab a shot of Tesco. Because I've been doing so much work, I'm being very reliant on images for my blogging work. Basically, I've set up a load of new blogs because I figured no one can take them away from me. It's my own work. They can't disappear overnight if something was to happen, so sort of taking the control into my hands a little bit. But one thing I did notice on these royalty-free stock websites, because I don't tend to pay for images, there's some good community groups that I've mentioned before, like Unsplash, and if you use stuff off there, it's a good idea to kind of put some stuff back on there. So I wanted to get a shot of Tesco from a distance, because I've been doing about saving money on your supermarket shopping, that kind of thing. It's not the best of days for it, really. I don't know what this pod, oh, electric charge points, that's quite cool. Yeah, if I can get a half decent shot there's quite a bit of interest in the sky today, so it might be quite nice, even though it's raining and drizzly. We'll see. Just want to get a shot from a distance, really. Something that I can pop on there and also use myself. So let's go over this side and see if we can get something. So yeah, hopefully this sort of behind the scenes point of view photography will be quite interesting. I'm probably going to be shooting, well, I'll be shooting manual, probably be quite a high shutter speed, even though it's quite dark today. I don't need any, sorry if you've lost me in my coat. Don't really need any creative depth of field or anything like that, so it will be probably f11. Oh, I've left my camera on. Hopefully I don't need to change the battery. I don't need to change the battery, perfect. So if you can see here, I am just wanted to get a couple of shots, basic shots really, of supermarket signs and that kind of thing, just that you could use on a blog, and I'll pop them all up on Unsplash later because I think that's quite a good thing to do. Nothing extra special about it. 160th of a second, 6.3. I could probably change those a little bit, but that's fine, that'll do. So that's one thing off the list, and we will carry on our little walk down towards the park. I'm hoping all this works out. I'm hoping the audio is alright from inside my coat and everything works. I might quickly grab another shot from over here. Now we're a bit further away, although there's a load of signs in the way. Parking for .com vans only, so it's not ideal, but it might be alright for someone. Bit of negative space, that'll do. Might work for somebody or something. Always crop in on it. So yeah, what else have I got to tell you? Everything's been going alright. Family are well. Homeschooling is interesting as always. If we wanted to be teachers, we'd have signed up to be teachers, but I've got a massive appreciation for teachers. It's such a hard thing to do, keeping kids interested all the time. It's just tricky. So yeah, we'll see. It's funny because you walk past shops that haven't even taken the Christmas decorations down, and is there any point in them taking them down, because it's probably going to be very similar for most of the year. So I just gave the camera a quick wipe there because it's getting a bit drizzly. So I'm still working. I enjoyed doing that project, which it did turn into a project within itself really. The calendar, my local calendar, you might notice a few areas that I'm walking past or walking to on this little walk that might have featured in the calendar, or you might have seen pictures of before. So I'm planning on doing it again for 2022. So I definitely broke even on the 2021 calendars. I didn't really know if I would. It was a bit of an experiment, but I sold enough to break even. I also then I did a, in between Christmas and New Year, I think, it might have been just before Christmas, I stopped selling them because pre-Christmas was getting stressful with work and trying to get enough work done so I could take some time off and that kind of thing. And so I stopped selling them, and I had maybe 10 left over. So I went on a little walk just like this, and I put them in little plastic envelopes, and so they wouldn't get wet. And they came in little plastic envelopes, so they didn't get wet anyway. So I kept them in them, and I put a little sticker on the front saying Merry Christmas, please enjoy this calendar, bring some of the outdoors in during this season we're living in, that kind of thing. And I just dotted them around town, and I went on a walk one way, and then I sort of, on the way back, I checked in on a couple of them to see if they were still there or if they'd gone. A few of them had gone, so hopefully that was a nice little thing to do, spread the love, pass that on a little bit, little what do they call it? Gifts of happiness, or whatever it's called. I can't remember. There's a hashtag for it somewhere. Little gifts of happiness or something. So yeah, that was quite a cool thing to do. So we're now heading down to the park, and yeah, it's getting a bit more drizzly. I was hoping that sunshine would break through a little bit, but it is a little bit drizzly, but it's not a problem. As I said, the photography's secondary, it doesn't matter. One thing I did want to try and find is that I've seen lots of shots of snowdrops, and it's quite a nice thing to view. People I follow on Twitter, on Instagram and all that kind of stuff, there's been snowdrops popping up all over the place, and it's sort of that signification of, it's sort of signifying that new growth. Spring is coming, change is happening, and I think we all need that. I definitely needed a bit of change this morning. The same four walls were doing my head in. So yeah, that's the archway into the park. I've tried getting a shot of that before from a few different angles. It's a tricky one to do because it's quite dull, but everyone knows where it is. So with my photography photo calendar, I've tried to be sort of mix the artistic with the iconic, so make sure that there's pictures in there that people recognise of the town, but also, because that's what's going to buy it in the end, isn't it? That's what's going to make them part with the money. That's what's going to show interest. They know that area, so they'll buy it as a gift or for themselves. But also I wanted to show a bit of artistic and take some pictures that possibly aren't as obvious that they're taken here in the town. So I've done quite a lot of that within the park itself. There's different areas of woodland that I've explored, and during different seasons I've taken different shots and stuff. So that's been good. I have got a few shots for the 2022 calendar. When it snowed, I got a nice shot of the conservatory in the park that I might take you to. And there'd been hardly any footprints on the ground. There was just someone had been passed on a bicycle, so they kind of created these leading lines for me that I could use. It was quite a nice shot. So that's probably going to be winter or January maybe, because it was taken on the border, on the cusp of the new year. And I've got some other shots from within the park, and I took some Christmas ones when the Christmas lights were up as well within the town, so we'll see. The problem is that I found last year, it was I ended up with about 15 images. Obviously I needed 12 for the calendar, and it was whittling them down, and I kind of don't want to go back and rely on those extra 3 images. I could do if times got that hard and I couldn't take a shot for some reason. I could go back to them, I suppose. Right, I'm just going to be a bit quiet because there is a squirrel over here, and I love the squirrels in this park. They tend to pose quite nicely. So obviously I've got my 50. I'm going to have to change some settings first. If we go to about that, You know what, I might just go on sport mode, because then it's going to get my, use a bit of automatic. See if I can get this squirrel without him disappearing too far. See if he'll pose for me. Don't even know where he's gone now. Oh, he's up here. Can't see him against the white silhouette of the background. Let's go back into manual. Where is he? Oh, he's done one. Can't see him now. Never mind. I think, as well as struggling being out, whenever I have picked up my camera, I've been struggling with what the hell to do with it, because I just feel a bit exhausted by it. All these settings and stuff, it's just, having not picked up for a while, my mind's gone a little bit. Let's just take a picture of a tree. Let's do it that way. No, let's do it that way. Nothing special. Let's put about F7, and then we can bump up that a little bit. I'll pull back the colour a little bit, play around with it in Photoshop. One of the things I have been trying to do a bit more is a bit of post-production on my images. I'm not very good at it. I've said that hundreds of times. I'm not good at post-production. I find it difficult. I find it sometimes unnecessary. Sometimes it's done because we can, because we've got the equipment, we've got the software, we've got the ability to do it, and sometimes I think it's unnecessary. But each to their own. That's the joy of photography. Everyone's got an opinion, everyone does it differently. One thing I do need to do is get some new walking boots, because I've been on this grass for about 3 minutes and I can feel the water coming in. So that can be another job during lockdown, get some new walking boots. If you've watched any of my other videos, you might have seen before that they're doing quite a lot of forestry work. You might see it on the camera. They've cordoned off some areas, which has meant it's been a bit difficult. Some trees that I've sort of seen and taken a picture of, but I wasn't happy with the picture and I've wanted to go back to, I now can't go back to, or I can go back to, but they're not as interesting. They've kind of lost the part of it that I was craving. That image that I really wanted, it's now got a fence post in it or something, but I completely understand why they're doing what they're doing. So let's go up this way a little bit. I was going to say I thought it'd stop raining, but I think it's blowing off the treetops. So one of the cool things about this park is that it's got a miniature railway going around it. It's run by volunteers and they've got a little donation box. It's all free. I've been to other ones in different parks and you have to pay, but this is always free. And the track is huge. It goes, starts over here and then it goes, there's a short track just there, but then there's another one which goes all the way over there and all the way beyond them trees, and it's awesome. I like them trees over there. It's quite a nice little zone to get away from the crowds and sort of enjoy a little bit of peace. Even though you're in a local park which is big and busy and there's playgrounds and stuff, it's quite nice to be away and find your own little section sometimes. So these are the stations for the train track. I've tried getting some little train track shots using the tracks as little lines to lead you in, but it kind of doesn't work. Well, I haven't been able to get it to work just yet. But there's opportunities everywhere in this park. That's the thing that I love about it. Not only does it have a great cafe, and there's the trains, and there's the different areas for the kids. You just walk away from the crowds and you can have a little area to yourself, which is always quite nice. Yeah, I'm seeing some buds on trees already. There's that new growth is definitely on its way back, which is probably what we've all been waiting for. It's hard not to just sit and wait, isn't it? Sit and wait for life to begin again, because life has still been happening whilst all this has been going on. So it's finding that stuff that you can do and the joy that you can enjoy during the bad times and the downtime and all that kind of jazz. Let's walk away through these dogs and then we'll see if there's any shots in the walled garden area. One thing I do want to do one day is do a little vlog in the park on the architecture, because there's some lovely buildings. Some of them have been updated, but there's some lovely old things that have been untouched. Even little details. I've done a macro video in the park before, and the details on the gates and stuff, they're just beautiful. And it's nice to sort of appreciate that a little bit. So let's pop in here and see what we can see. I was in here the other day, a couple of days ago, and there were squirrels everywhere and there were robins, and you could see them straight away. I've not seen anything yet. But even if I don't get a shot of anything today, it's just nice to be out. I also felt like I hadn't connected with anyone. I've heard from a few people, but everyone's got their own stuff going on, haven't they? Just let me interrupt myself. This is the conservatory. Unfortunately, it was all smashed. Some youth of today, vandals, smashed it all. But I managed to get a nice shot from here-ish. Around here, it might have been a bit further back, and you've got the lines of the bike which take you in, and then the bike disappears off, and there was just probably not even a centimetre of snow. It was just a little light dusting, and it just made for a nice little shot. There was no real interest in the sky, so I had to pull a bit back in post-production, but I think that will make the calendar for sure. And while I'm at it, there's another tree here which I always like. It's just here, it's growing at an angle, or it's fallen over, and they've got these big pillars in place to hold it up. And it was planted in 1887 as part of the celebrations to mark Queen Victoria's Golden Jubilee. It's grown at an angle due to a group of large oak trees growing close behind, and was originally propped in winter of 1999-2000 following a storm when the root plate started lifting out of the ground and the tree began to fall. It's quite cool. One shot I have got of that was from the air. I took a shot of the maze. There's a maze here. It looks better in summer when you can't see through the sparse hedges. And I got the drone out ages ago, and it was snowing, and I went up above the maze because I thought it would be a cool shot to see the outline of the maze in snow and all the pathways and stuff. And I went a little bit higher, and you could just see the edge of the tree, and it made for a bit of interest in the shot, because why is there a tree sort of at an angle that you'd usually see it, but from the sky? It was quite a cool shot. So let's bob around here. I'm going to go down by the brook in a minute. I'm just going to go around here. There's nothing that's catching my eye. I've not seen any. I'll tell a lie. I have just spotted a little clump. of new growth. So let's see if we can get a little shot. I'm going to have to go down quite low. Let's sort out my settings first. I'm going to look for quite a bit of depth of field. I want to blow out that background, so let's go 2.8, 3.2, and that should allow me, let's go a bit more, let's go 2.2. 160th of a second. Let's have a quick look. Just taking a few shots which can be shared online. If you're not following me online, why aren't you? No, I'm joking. Please do. Please send me a message and stuff if you're interested. Oh, that's nice. There's just a little one poking out the back. Shooting handheld is not my favourite thing to do, but it's quite nice. Let's go around the other side. I'll pop all these pictures up on the screen so you can see, because it's not the easiest thing to do to show you them while I'm... Oh, there's a few leaves just within it, so let's just take them leaves out and let them spread and grow a little bit. It also makes it look a little less... Yeah, that's quite nice. Let's get a portrait one and then we'll disappear again. Yeah, that one on the edges, the best for sure. Let's see if there's one on that side. A bit closer. Okay, let's get out of here without trampling on any more flowers. So I'll pop them up and we'll head down to, you might have seen on other videos of mine, there's some trees down this way that I really like. This area was all grown, all left alone, and then they've added these trees in, which is quite nice, but it was a nice little zone to fly your drone about, and it was kind of untouched, but they've added some bits and pieces in there. But my trees are still there. Let's find a way through here where I'm not going to get drowned. So yeah, that's one thing off the list already. A little bit of new growth, a little bit of delicate white in hard times. Let's go around this way. So yeah, this will be quite nice when all these trees kick in, and they were only planted about 18 months ago or so, I think, but when they all kick in and they get growing a little bit more, hopefully they'll take out some of the props that are holding them up. It's quite nice that they've all been done for a reason though. They've all been planted in memory of people who have passed, so it's quite a nice thing to do. And they do add some variety and different colours. In fact, the trees that I call them my trees, not my trees at all, because there is a little plinth thing in front of them where people have where they've been planted for someone, or they're in dedication of someone. But they're just them two. There's them three over there, right ahead of us. Yeah, as I was saying before, it's tough. My mental health's been taking a battering during all of this, and I'm sure there's hundreds and thousands of people that have felt exactly the same. But if you do ever want to reach out, only a few taps away. I tend to reply to everybody. I'm not busy or self-involved enough to ignore people. I'll talk to anyone. So yeah, if you are struggling, there's help out there, and if you want to talk to someone who's also suffering and struggling, get in touch. So these are my trees. I've taken a lovely shot before of them during loads of different seasons. It's nice with a bit of fog and a bit of mist, sort of separating the three. It's like a nice little triangle, but I don't think there's a shot there today. I didn't come to take a shot of that today. I came for some newness and detail and close-up shots, and just to get out of the house. So let's have a little wander through here, go through this little bit of woodland, try not to fall over, and see what we've got. It's a bit boggy down here. So I seem to be saying that I take quite a lot of shots in this park, but I have over the last years. This has been my playground really. The forest floor has been fantastic during autumn, and there's been some lovely colour. It's just nice to get in there and enjoy it and see what it does during different times, different seasons, different weather conditions. There's always a bit of interest. I'm wondering whether there's a shot here, this broken branch. If I can step back a little bit and just focus on the broken part. Maybe a bit more like that. I don't think any of these are going to be award winning or particularly keepers, as it were, but I think it's just getting out and about and spotting things that catch your eye, and just being at one with nature. There's so much benefit of being out. This tree's gorgeous, the amount of moss on there. Oh, took a shot without realising. In fact, that other one behind it's even better. It seems to have a bit more light on it. Let's go over here and not stand on any wildlife. Let's go portrait actually. Just get that focus. That's quite nice, running from top to bottom. And there's another tree on that side, sort of balancing the frame a little bit. That's quite nice. Again, nothing incredible. Might try and get something with this branch as well that's fallen, this massive log. It's a bit of chaos. I like a bit of chaos. It's like a snake working its way through the undergrowth. Right, if I can focus on, get down here and focus on a bit of the moss in the foreground. Or it might be better shooting the other way. Let's not fall down this hill. Oh, that's quite nice. Okay. Just some little details as we work our way around. The thing is, if you stick to the paths all the time, you're just going to get the same shots as everybody else and see the same things as everybody else. But what I do love down here is stuff like that. Autumn seems to be hanging on forever down here. Even in the depths of winter, you could pick out a nice little bit of autumnal colour. Might be better shooting against that green background to pull out those colours that little bit more. I'm probably gonna go up to f1.8, which is the most I can on here on this camera. I don't like it. Maybe this way, maybe from over here. Needs a bit of separation. I don't think that's going to work as a shot, but it's quite nice. I might try on a different one instead. There's all these over here. Maybe if I make it that bit darker, I can always try and boost that orange colour afterwards. Let's go with that and then we'll see what that ends up with in post-production. I might just get a close-up of the leaves while I'm here. Go a little bit brighter, I can always darken it down. Yeah, not bad. Just something. I don't want to get too snap happy, but I just want to get my eye in a little bit, try and get my eye back into it. Right, I'm not... Oh, right, okay. I've never walked down that way before, so I didn't realise that this is where it kicks you out. So I am back on the path. So which way should we go? Let's go that way for a little bit and try and get a bit more of this orange goodness as we go across this bridge and stuff. See, I've never been up into this zone either, this little area, but it's nicely spaced out. Might be a bit of interest somewhere, maybe a tree or something that jumps out. There's one that's fallen over there, but that feels too obvious. That can be plan B. And I'm probably going to have to rely on plan B, I reckon. Thing is, there's no, as I said before, there's nothing separating anything up here. There's no mist or fog. But this is definitely a nice little area. It'd be good to come here with the kids, actually. Those trees there might be quite nice. They're all quite standing to attention. Oh yeah, 500th of a second. No, that's too much. 320, 1.8. That's not bad. I might go darker actually. That's quite nice. If I can get less sky in, that might be even better. It might make it look like I'm in this little woodland A bit more untouched. There. That's nice. There's someone in the background there, but it doesn't really matter. Wait for them to walk. I quite like that shot. Right, let's try this fallen tree as well. I hope this is interesting. I hope you're still with me. As I say, I just wanted to get out, take you guys with me, see what happens. I don't know what this big tree's doing actually. I don't know what, there's a massive bit of concrete over here. Big slab of something. Don't know what that's from. But people have been using this fallen down tree as a sort of to make lean-tos with the kids. It's quite cool. That might make quite a nice little picture. Something a bit different, show that people are out and about. Let's climb over. There we go. Need to go back a bit. That's the thing with the Nifty 50. I love the focal length, but I always forget that I'm standing too close, and I am always standing too close. That's quite a nice shot. Bit of a tree on the left, leading you up on the right from the bottom of the broken tree up to those bits that people have put up, which is quite nice. Another thing that I wanted to do, there's people with umbrellas up, and I wanted to try and get an umbrella within the woodland. So if I can shoot from here and wait for this bloke to go past with his what's he got? It's a rainbow umbrella, I think. If I just wait, unless he's put it back down. I know he's coming. Loads of different colours on the umbrella. He's got some dogs with him, so just thinking if I can pop him on the right hand side, it would just add a human element and that little bit of colour. Something like that, but I want him in the next lot of trees. There. There. That's what I wanted. Maybe one more for look. Yeah, lovely. Yeah, that's quite nice. I think the first one was better. Yeah, so let's carry on. I'll go back on the path and work my way down that way, I think. But it's nice just to find these different areas. I think a scouting mission sometimes is nice, no real shots in mind. Just take some images and enjoy a little bit of seeing what catches your eye. Work our way down this little track. Load of dogs screaming, owners shouting. As I say, I've not been up this part. Didn't realise you could get up to it. Usually it's so miserly and drizzly and horrible, I stick to the paths. But this is quite a nice little area. Getting away from the main route. Getting away from the traffic. It actually opens up the area a little bit. It's higher up, you've got that little bit of height, and you can sort of look down and everything a little bit more. It gives a bit of a nice vantage point. So let's see if I can get anything worthwhile from up here. I still think I'm too close. I'd want a wider shot, I'd want sort of all of that, and I'm not going to get that at this focal length today. Let's just see if anything catches my eye. Just have a little scan. That bridge is quite nice, but I'm in the wrong place for it, and I appear to be heading into a bog. So might be better from around there. Let's get around this bit. I must confess, I haven't watched barely any YouTube probably in the last 6 months, and I've also taken a massive step back from social media, which has been a bit weird because I work on social media. It's quite nice, but it's been nice to get away from it all a bit and just have a bit more focusing on the important stuff. I've had people contact me saying, why have you got rid of me on Facebook and stuff, but because I work on Facebook, I do a lot of my work, although less than I used to, but I felt like I was spending a lot of time on there and it was just becoming a job, and having more and more people on there was meaning that I wasn't getting any work done because I was getting distracted. So I decided to have a bit of a clear out of people. I can still chat to people on the messaging service on there, but it's just putting myself first a little bit. I feel like I've given a lot over the last few years, and then it's probably time for me to think about myself and the important things now and again. So let's wander around this way and we'll get back on that path. Oh, there's some mushrooms here. Let's have a look at these shrooms. I did get some nice autumnal mushroom shots at the back end of last year, but you can't beat a mushroom shot if you can find one. It's quite nice. Just getting the horrific orange vibrant colour of those mushrooms blowing out the background. Something else to edit later. That's the thing, it's filling your time, isn't it? As great as spending all this time with the kids and being at home, I think you can be at home too much, and I've got to the point where I feel like I've been at home too much. Just take a couple of steps back because there's a shot there. But I want that bridge on the right hand side, left hand side. Let's make it slightly darker. And then we'll see what it looks like when we get home. Oh yeah, there's a little bit up here that I'm going to show you before I switch you off, because we're probably approaching about an hour now, and I bet if anyone's still watching they're getting a bit bored. So there's a tree that's fallen over here. I'll go around this way to it. And someone's been along with a chainsaw quite coolly. I've just spotted some more mushrooms, and they've what's that? I don't know what that is. Someone's been along with a snooker cue. Oh no, I don't like these mushrooms. They're the slimy ones. I like a nice, intimate, umbrella type one. Let's go around this way. Yeah, someone's been along with a chainsaw and chopped it into a bench, which is really quite cool. I don't know whether the council have done it. I don't know if it's just some chainsaw wielding Good Samaritan or anything like that. But it looks quite cool. Just taking another shot there while some people go past. Well, I might wait until someone goes across that bridge. Just focus on the bridge. I do like a depth of field, but I also like, there we go. I've been liking getting some shots of people walking. I got one that I called Frosty Mornings, and it was a man and his wife and his four-legged friend, and they sort of emerged from behind this tree in a row, and it was really quite cool. I quite liked it. Yeah, I think there's been a load of trees felled, or that have fallen and then they felled them. And if you look over here, you'll see they've carved some seats into them, which is quite cool. But this is a right state. This must have had a right pounding. I've taken a few shots from here, down here before, but it looks like it's had a right stormy pounding by trees being felled and stuff. So, but yeah, I quite like this. It gives you something to sit on and watch the world go by. No need for a picture there. But yeah, quite cool. I might take you along to the... There's another little waterfall further up. Might just try and get some people shots. You know, send them into the news, that kind of thing. Send them into the weather. I don't do that in a lot anymore. It's very infrequent that I do that. Just don't have the time, I think. I think it's difficult to weigh up everything. Obviously, we all need to provide for our families, and that got ripped away from a lot of us. So I have been putting in a stupid amount of extra graft to try and sort that situation out. So it's finding time to prioritise stuff, and that's kind of what I was talking about when I said that I've stepped away from stuff. You might have seen that the UTOGS group disappeared as well. I'd had enough. It was just something else that turned into a chore. And when you set stuff up with people and they disappear, I kind of felt like I'm not going to stick around and be the crutch to hold something up, which clearly wasn't wanted. So yeah, it's a bit of a shame because it was good. It was a good little community, but I'm in touch with the people that are wanting to be in touch, and it's amazing how many people complained when it disappeared and then they've not actually got in touch again. But it's life, isn't it? People come, people go. It's not me having a moan about it, it's just saying that, like, reinforcing that priority thing. We've all got priorities and we all need to make sure our priorities are the number one thing. Yeah, so this is a nice little waterfall as well. This brook has a couple of little waterfalls coming over it on the way through the park, on the edge of the sort of outskirts of the park, and it's nice to get down low in there. I'm surprised the water's not higher actually, because we've had quite a bit of rainfall, but you're always guaranteed a different shot because obviously with branches and stuff being swept down, there's always one change in the direction of the waterfall, or if you do a long exposure, that's the bit that stays the same throughout the whole thing, and then the sort of silky, milky water laps around it. But I'll take you up to the first waterfall up here, which is probably the best one because it comes through a little archway. Let's give that camera a little wipe again. Sorry about that. And let me check how long we've been talking for. Just under an hour, so we'll probably just go over just over an hour. Let's get along to this bit, which gives loads of wonderful, gives loads of lovely shots. Just going to go around this way because I'm fully aware I've got a hole in my boots. So if I can do the muddy bits on one side of my body and keep the other foot out, I won't get a wet foot. I think it's so easy to crave those honeypot locations. I certainly have. I've wanted to go back to the lakes, but even going into Preston, I shouldn't be going into Preston. I shouldn't be leaving the area. I shouldn't be going anywhere apart from staying at home. So it's keeping those rules, isn't it? I'm doing my bit. I've not really gone out. I've not seen family. My parents have now had the vaccination, which is good. Well, the first of two, but it's still going to be a long process and one that we're going to be struggling with for a while, I feel. So those honeypot locations will still be there at some point. I looked and it was something popped up on Facebook, I think it was. I know I said I'd try to stay off it, but I was on it the other day and a memory popped up, and it was 2 years since North Wales taking the lighthouse in the Starry Night which was awesome. I can't believe that's been 2 years. And I can't believe it's been longer than that since I went to Scotland. So there's a chap here taking a picture of it. This is it. It's such a good little spot. Hiya.
Hiya. Morning.
Such a good little spot. It's got a little bit of, just a little bit of history, a little bit of architecture mixed with nature, mixed with water, which you could slow down if you wanted to. But I got a shot last year in autumn, and it's hard because there's so many different angles that you could get. I've so many times gone for the obvious here, or closer in, where you get the water flowing, and there's even now there's branches falling over it, and that's the static in your long exposure. But I went over this side, and all of this tree here, all of this was orange, burnt orange, glowing, vibrant, beautiful. And I sort of got underneath it here, and that was coming up this side, and it didn't matter about the waterfall, it was all about the arch. That's what was important, that was the important part of it. I might just go back onto the bridge and take a little shot just to capture it today, see what it's like. I think a lot of my photography is based around moving water, so having something like this on your doorstep is quite nice. And 50mm seems to be pretty much, I'll put it there for you so you can see, pretty much spot on. I'll go that way. And go for a bit of an angle. Again, nothing award winning, nothing spectacular. Just a little capture of the day. So I'm going to head back up. Thank you ever so much for coming out on this hour's little jaunt with me. I might do a few more. Different areas of the park, different places, local, that kind of thing. But yeah, stay safe. And yeah, I'll see you on the next one, whenever that'll be. I don't know when it'll be, but until then, I hope you can stay safe, look after each other, drop us a message if you want, and yeah, keep doing a little bit of local photography. And I'll see you soon.